After the escape from a rising tide at Haida Gwaii's famous shipwreck, our adventure continues as I reached Port Clements, a small settlement halfway between Naikung Provincial Park and Masset. So I just got into Port Clements. Again, it's a one-way street settlement, and this is the last stop before Masset. If you travel from Queen Charlotte, this place is really interesting. Yeah, as you can see, there's a huge water body behind me, and in the distance you can also see the mountains as well. Actually, the water body behind me is a huge inlet called the Masset Inlet. So this is like a bay within an island. I'll actually show you on a map. And within this bay, and you're gonna see mountains, which is mostly located on the western part of Graham Island. And of course, you know, the relatively flat part, that's where Port Clements and the Naikung Provincial Park are located. One thing I really liked about Port Clements was that I encountered absolutely no people while I was there. I had this amazing view all by myself. I could imagine if we have this kind of setting in Vancouver or Victoria, it would be an instant tourist attraction with loads of people. But this is Haida Gwaii, and I was glad I made all the way up there. We'll come back to Port Clements and discover a local legend on a return journey to Queen Charlotte. 50 minutes north of Port Clements is Masset, the largest settlement in northern Haida Gwaii. I'm actually staying in Old Masset, a separate village on Haida territory. And believe it or not, this oceanfront house is where I based myself during my entire time there. This bed and breakfast was run by Haida artist April White. She is actually a very well-known artist even in Queen Charlotte and Skidegate. My room was spacious and the experience was unique. After dropping off my luggage, it was time to explore Old Masset. Hey folks, so I just got into the final destination for my trip to north of Graham Island in Haida Gwaii, Old Masset. Yeah, actually Old Masset is a separate town from Masset, while Masset is a major village that provides services and has an airport. Old Masset is actually a First Nations reserve for the Haida people. But for now, after a long day of hiking at the shipwreck, so I'm just gonna, drive around and see what's interesting. And then probably I'll go grab dinner and call it a day. Actually, the moment you start to explore Old Masset, you'll find this place is more than just interesting. This village is nothing like what I've seen anywhere else in Canada. If Alert Bay totem poles were signs of Kwakwaka'wakw people's cultural comeback, the totem poles in Old Masset are part of everyday life. And you don't even need a guide like the one in Alert Bay in order to spot some amazing totem poles. These ones actually belong to the house that's right across the street from where I was staying in Old Masset. Like explained in the previous episode in Skidegate, Old Masset is one of the two main Haida villages in Haida Gwaii. Unlike Skidegate, a community which was mainly made up of Haida villagers originally from southern Haida Gwaii, Old Masset has been a major Haida settlement before the arrival of European settlers on the Pacific coast of North America, as the name Masset was actually given to this place by the early Spanish explorers who required assistance from the local Haida community.
I just checked the weather forecast, so next couple of days it's gonna be rather gloomy. It's gonna be mostly rainy. So today is actually the last sunny day that I'll possibly see in my trip.
To see Old Masset the last time when it's in good weather, I did not waste a single second of the setting sun and tried to explore as much as I could. All of a sudden, I realized that I entered the local cemetery by accident. Knowing my past experience at the cemetery in Alert Bay, I refrained from entering the cemetery and opted to view it from the side of the road only. What happened next was that I realized that I wasn't alone. There were already some visitors inside the cemetery. After leaving the cemetery, I went to check out a unique building in Old Masset by the playground. It appeared to be a souvenir shop. Because it was already late, the shop closed for the day. And of course, being the last sunny day while I was in the Masset area, the sunset was especially gorgeous on that day.
Here we go.
You gotta film the free stuff so you can see if you're trying to search the bowl. One behind you to sit. And you need somebody to sit. Yes, now.
After enjoying breakfast with the puppies, I headed to the neighboring community of Masset for some exploration. Despite being so close to Old Masset, Masset felt like a different town, more like somewhere on Vancouver Island. Instead of totem poles, you'll find parks, restaurants, and facilities like schools and even a post office.
class, so I came back to Old Masset. To be honest, this village is way more interesting than Masset. I think despite the fact it's a little bit on the outer side, but this is where the heart and soul of northern Haida Gwaii is.
Indeed, Old Masset made me feel like I was in another country. The Haida identity was particularly strong there, and it was visible throughout the village.
Yeah, thinking compared to the totem poles in Alert Bay, the totem poles here in Old Masset, they appear to be weathered and aged very well. So they're probably older than the ones in Alert Bay. But on the other hand, this area is also more prone to strong winds and erosion from the seawater. So that also explains why it looks just more historic and more aged than the ones in Alert Bay. I mean, these ones are pretty much comparable to some of the oldest ones in Alert Bay, like the ones we saw in the old cemetery over there.
The locals in Old Masset were some of the friendliest I've ever met in Canada. The family living across the street from where I was staying waved at me every time they saw me walking by. A local shop owner claimed that he saw me in Queen Charlotte just 2 days ago when he went to pick up supplies from the ferry terminal. As a guest on First Nations land, I felt more welcomed in Old Masset than the vast majority of places I've been in Canada. Then I remembered the horrible things the Canadian government and society did to the Haida and many other Indigenous people in the past. What would happen if Canada was never colonized? Would I see places like Old Masset across Canada? I think this village gave me an experience to feel like what Canada might be like if history happened otherwise.
You can tell that was an eagle. You can see the claws, but yeah, the upper top gone. Yeah, it started raining now. Because it's raining and then a lot of the totem poles in town, the color has been changed due to the rain. So once, the rainwater soaks the wood, it appears like a darker color now.
And finally, I got the chance to visit the souvenir shop. Well, too expensive that I couldn't really afford most of the artisan products sold in there. Hey, but there is something I can afford. And that is the only restaurant in Old Masset.
I hope you've been having an amazing day. Well, when I say that, you'll probably figure out what we're doing right now. Yes, it's gonna be another food review. As you know, Haida Gwaii is essentially made of many islands, so it's an archipelago. And that means one thing, there's lots of seafood here. But the thing is, unlike other places where seafood means seafood, here most of the seafood places I see, it's mostly fish and chips. But the thing is, I'm not really a big fish and chips person. And hey, this place I went, it's run by a local Haida family, and they do have halibut burger. So let's find out how the halibut burger tastes.
Alright, so let's open up the Pandora's box. Just fries.
Let me first try the fries. Just regular fries, but at least it's not pre-packaged. It tastes like potato was being cut. There's already some light seasoning on it, so I think I should be fine without any ketchup or salt or pepper, so it should be good. Now let's get to the real deal.
But hey, at least this one is, this halibut is from the grill, not deep fried.
Alright, here we go. Let's try the main course, the real deal. Seafood of Haida Gwaii. To be fair, it actually tastes like chicken burger. It's not really that stunning, but hey, it's very decent, and family cooking, I like it. I can feel this is fish and chips inspired. Yeah, so the meat itself tastes kind of like chicken, but upon entering the mouth, you can tell that it's small pieces by pieces. It's definitely fish. It also has pickles, also has onions, and some lettuces. Now most of the sauce inside the burger is dripping into the box of fries, and I have a feeling that this fries will taste better now. Let's find out. You know what, actually tastes the same. Alright, so that concludes our review of Old Masset seafood.
But our adventure in northern Haida Gwaii hasn't ended yet. They say you can see the shores of Alaska in this area on a nice day. Is it true? Follow me to the next episode.
That's actually Alaska. If you ever get stuck on the beach here, make sure you give this guy a call.